Who is the most famous fisherman ever? You would think so, but I'm actually talking about a real fisherman, a guy who went out on a boat and caught fish for a living. Not Peter. Peter didn't stay a fisherman. He took on another job. Who is the most famous fisherman by trade in the history of humankind? No. It's a good guess. We heard his name, though, today. We heard it twice. Zebedee. And you all look at me like I'm crazy. Who was Zebedee? Weird name. Nobody names their children Zebedee. Nobody goes through life thinking, I'm going to be like Zebedee. Certainly, no one, even fishermen probably, go through their lives thinking, that's all right, it's a blessed trade, Zebedee did it. Why do we remember Zebedee? We remember him because his two sons, to whom he wanted to leave his trade, his occupation, the dignity of fishermen before him, his boat, his nets, his property, all that he had worked to build up, he wanted to leave to his two sons, James and John. But one day, a normal day, a good day, the boys had grown up. They'd gotten better muscles. They could actually pull the nets for once. Zebedee wasn't left by himself. He had help. One day they were sitting there doing their work in the boat, and his heart was full. He was thinking, my sons, they're going to take on this trade. All my work isn't going to be for nothing. I can die in peace. Not now. I want to enjoy this. It was a good day. And then this guy walking along the seashore starts yelling, hey, you guys. Yes, you, the ones on the boat. Come here. Follow me. And I will make you fishers of men. And Zebedee's good day kind of turned sour because his sons left the boat. They left the fish. They left the trade. They left him. And they went to follow this wandering teacher who it just happened turned out to be God. Now, in all of Zebedee's dearest dreams, he never wanted his sons to be famous. He never thought they would write books, preach sermons, shake the foundations of empires, have their pictures painted on walls all around the world. He never thought any of that. He never thought that they might die at the command of the king of the world, miles from the home they grew up in. And we can imagine the boat, abandoned, slowly rotting on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, the nets abandoned, or maybe not even there because other people were still fishing. They would take what was useful from the boat. We can imagine the boat as the gravestone of all of Zebedee's dreams. We don't think about this part, but it's true. What he wanted, he did not get. But I like to think that he didn't dwell on that. He didn't go to his grave disappointed. That for him, the Lord's call, leave the fish. I'm going to make you fishers of men. I like to think that by the end of his life, he found himself able to see that his sons, the ones he had intended for an honorable but a lowly trade, had been called to higher things. I like to think that Zebedee understood that his fatherhood had not been in vain, that his hopes had been fulfilled, but far more than he had dared to even begin to dream. And today, as we celebrate Father's Day, it is good that we think on Zebedee, that we consider what he wanted, what he hoped for, what he worked for, and what he got. Because this is what it means to be a father. You labor all day long. You work to please your boss, your fellow workers, your employees. And then you come home and you try to make the wife and the kids happy. You try to teach them the things that need to be taught. You try to keep the house from not falling down. And all you can think to hope of in those moments is that somehow the children that you are raising will value the things that you are putting your life into. And the temptation, the hidden temptation, is to think that if they don't follow my plan, then I will have failed. But the fact is, as fathers, we don't try to raise our children to be little accessories of our own lives. Their purpose is not to build us up. The responsibility of a father is to build up his children so that they can stand alone and go out and serve and work and labor for a higher purpose. And every father in the room knows what it is to be Zebedee. Every father in the room, whether his child is 40 days old or 40 years, knows what it is to have disappointed hopes, to realize that this new human being you have begotten is independent, is free, is not yours. And with the example of Zebedee, we are given the other half of the equation. It's not just that our children are not our own. Because if they're not ours, whose are they? Their own? No. Zebedee's sons didn't abandon him to go party in the town. They left him to serve the Lord. They gave themselves into the vision and the work and the labor of God, who is Father of us all. And therefore, we may say that Zebedee's fatherhood was perfectly fulfilled. He cared for his sons, he raised his sons, he taught them to work, to love, to live, and then he gave them into the care of God, where they worked out all that they had learned from their father in the higher task. And as we observe Father's Day today, as we look at the fathers and honor them, we honor their labor and their loss. And as we ourselves consider our relationship with our own fathers, we recognize that what has been given to us by our fathers is not a gift that we own. It is not ours to squander it in whatever way we wish. It is a gift that we are called to make active in the service and the love of God our Father. So with these things in mind, with grief and joy for the loss and the gain of Zebedee, the most famous of all fishermen ever, let us stand and offer ourselves to Christ our God.